My friend, we have been in search of people like you. I mean, good web souls with good intentions like yourself. Because we believe you can be of great help in our mission here of spreading love, peace, and unity, and also showing people the importance of honesty and forgiveness just like you do. You see, that's just the reason why I can't get enough words to thank you for clicking this video. But thanks to God Almighty. Let's even say some word. Dear Lord, thank you very much for this soul that have clicked this video. Bless them abundantly, Father. Thank you for today's videos, even for today's fruit and our animals, Father. Thank you for everything. Thank you for kindness and for life, Father. Guide us through these videos every minute till the end. In Jesus' mighty name, we pray and believe. Amen. Wonderful soul. Before we dive in, there is something which is very important that you should do to feed, at least so that you can start with some energy, you see? And today, we are going to feed spiritually, like we always do from the book of knowledge. My friend, pass me that good words book of wisdom. Let's hear what it says. The voice of the Lord is over the waters, the glory of thunder, the Lord of thunders. Over the mighty waters, the voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is majestic. Much love. Good vibes. Let's dive in, my friends. Silly ants being controlled by imaginary rice. Well, are they really silly or wise in their dimension? Take a look at this, my God, and the imaginary rice that divide the continents here.
Blacked out eyes is deeply rooted in the occult. When the average human eye is in complete darkness, the pupil expands almost to the whole size of the iris. Seeing into the dark is seeing into the secret truth, or seeing the unseen or unseeable.
What's going on here? Some good vibes guy from China Labs is showing us something. Let's see some good vibes illustration. This, my friends, might turn out to be a machinery that can do crazy things. So take a look at this, you see?
This is how they cook their special rice.
Oh, how they cook their special rice.
Yeah.
They cook rice with vegetables. You see, all good people of Earth are good vibes from everywhere. Like these ones, the Chinese people, they cook rice using leaves. Good vibes. Like my friend, what is this you have passed me today? This one is new. Anyway, what do you call this? English people, I have been first something here new.
Have a flood myth? More than 200 of them have flood myths, but I'll give you one example that I love. China actually, and some of the most ancient records that we have of China, they were a monotheistic culture that worshiped a god called Shangdi, which means the one above the emperor. And their first great emperor is called Yu the Great, and he became an emperor after he figured out how to irrigate the water that was left over from a flood that had devastated China. And in that flood narrative, they believed that a couple called Fuxi and Nuwa built a boat, got in the boat, and sailed up to the heavens. There was a leak of water that was coming out of the heavens, flooding the earth. And Nuwa, what do you hear there? Noah put together these 5 stones and mixed up some tar pitch, and then took a brush and painted a rainbow in the sky that sealed the heavens. And so Nuwa in a boat paints a rainbow in the sky to put an end to the flood. Sound familiar?
She has access to the Vatican Archives because of her position as a professor of religious studies, and she has gone through and looked at all this church history. She's pretty much deduced that these ascent narratives that exist in the Bible and the church history have some UAP either connection or explanation. So for example, there's this really famous story of Saint Francis of Assisi. He was the one who cared for animals. And the story is that he saw an angel, and the angel somehow connected to him, and he received the wounds of Christ. And there's paintings out there. There's one in the Louvre I just saw. It shows the angel, and these beams are shooting down into his hands, and he's having that moment where he connects with this Jesus Christ. Diana has gone to the Vatican Archives and looked up the actual story, like the Latin text. This wasn't some like beautiful angel, and he doesn't describe it as an angel. He describes it basically as a craft.
When Enki came and told Adam and Eve who they were and how powerful they were and that they were at the same level as them, that's when they realized that they weren't dumb. That was the apple. The apple was knowledge. And then Enlil comes back and gets pissed off because he discovered what happens. And then he starts calling his brother the devil. You don't listen to him, he's evil. But that was to distract the people, to keep him in charge of the people. In the myth of Adapa, if you read that ancient tablet, the myth of Adapa, which is Adam, you discover that he's been told that the way that we were genetically modified by Enki, he added a little extra into us, that even us, we human beings, Homo sapiens sapien, have the capability of superseding and excelling beyond, far beyond the Anunnaki when we reach our full potential. And it was programmed into us. He said also the knowledge and wisdom is already programmed into our body, into the DNA, that at a future time we'd be able to tap into it. That's in the myth of Adapa.
Whoa.
Yeah, powerful stuff. And when Adam discovered all of this, he tried to commit suicide. He was kicked out of the garden, as you know. He tried to drown himself in the waters, and the guards came and pulled him out of the water, wouldn't let him kill himself. And then, as you know, they had Cain and Abel, and Cain killed Abel. And then Cain tells God, well, God is Enlil, Yahweh. Who's he talking to? He's talking to Enlil, who's known as Yahweh in the Bible. He says, you're going to get out of here, and for what you did. And Cain says, well, the people out there are going to kill me. That's what it says in the Bible. Well, what people? There shouldn't be anybody out there.
Right.
Oh, there's people out there. He goes, don't worry, I'm going to put a mark on you. And that way they'll know your minds and they'll never touch you. And you'll find your wife when you get out there, which is exactly what happened. And he started the Canaanites. So people were here already. Adam and Eve were not the first two people on earth. Two people didn't produce 8 billion people. That's a farce. Even in mainstream, science, when they talk about this one, this one hominid that they discovered in Africa, everybody came out of this one lady. Come on. It's ridiculous. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
When a woman accidentally left a rechargeable fan running on her back porch, it didn't go unnoticed by a local squirrel who was trying to beat the Texas heat. And when Bree spotted the little guy splooting comfortably in front of the fan, she couldn't help but think about all of the other squirrels in the area who hadn't been lucky enough to find their own personal cooling device. Even though she had never exactly considered herself a squirrel enthusiast, she knew in that moment that she wanted to do something for them. And she decided to open a state-of-the-art backyard squirrel resort, which is now open for its second year in a row. She started by adding more fans, giving more squirrel neighbors the chance to cool down at the same time. But just creating more space to cool off wasn't enough, so she added plenty of water and snacks, and even built the squirrels their own courtyard to really give the space a nice lounge feel. More and more squirrels started showing up to try out the cool new spot in town, and they rated it a perfect 5 acorns on Squirrel Yelp. Eventually, Bree and her husband decided it was time to expand the squirrel resort into the backyard trees, and they've now built an entire squirrel walk between some trees, which provides the squirrel patrons with additional convenience and more space to hang out. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
Can you explain to me what this is? Take a look at this good people of Earth. Take a look closely. You see? Oh, what? Are you seeing this? Guy. Ooh, take a look. Wait. This is some place there. I think it's on a desert. What is that thing? Are you seeing that thing? Look like something buried in the ground, big metal stuff. Or maybe it's just another big stone. English people, what do you think this could be? Oh my god, this is mysterious stuff. How does it look like it have a road connected to there? What is this? But now when you go to that place, my god. English people, are these normal stones or what's this? My god. This one looks like Puppy even looked back to make sure she's jealous. Haha, this one.
You've heard a lot of people talk about the Anunnaki coming to Earth to mine our gold and creating human beings, right? And the common narrative that's like most popular is that of Enki and Enlil, the two half-brothers, the two Anunnaki prince, sons of Anu, that were always in competition for who was the rightful heir of succession. Long story short, this is what everyone thinks, that these guys came to Earth, first Enki, then Enlil, and that's basically the story that is more commonly known. But it wasn't either Enki or Enlil or Anu to be the first here on Earth. The merit goes all to King Alalu. Alalu that was dethroned by Anu on Nibiru and afraid of being executed. He literally put himself in exile, jumps into a spacecraft, heads towards the hammered bracelet, shoots missiles to get through it, passes all of the planets of our solar system, and gets to Earth. Alalu has now landed on Earth. He couldn't believe it. He didn't know whether to land on ground or in the water. Either way, he risked his existence. But he lands, and after the initial shock, he is now on the ground. And this is where we're going to pick up the story. Alalu opened his eyes and realized that he was still alive and made it to the planet of gold. So here is what we know about the gold. It talks about the beginning of time and how the gods in the skies made the world. But they were never really gods. These are extraterrestrials. And in case you think God of the Bible or of any other religion is the real God, etc., every religion stems from the Sumerian scriptures. So this is the original story. And you'll see that these were never the real gods that created the universe, the worlds, the planets. These are just advanced extraterrestrials that came to Earth, then genetically modified bipedal hominoids that were on this planet to be able to enslave them to do their work for them. And that would be Homo sapien. Hence the big leap that we have from being this hominid, ape-like creature to all of a sudden gorgeous, beautiful, hairless Homo sapiens with a brain that could understand. Between the two links, there is at least 1 million years of evolution that is missing. 1 million, yes. So let's get back to the story. So the expeditions from Nibiru were dispatched to Earth to acquire gold. And it all started with Alalu's flight from Nibiru. And I have to say, I really feel bad for Alalu. Even though he took the throne from King Lamu, who was his predecessor, in not a nice way. He basically usurped the throne, but at the same time, he was technically more of the legal heir than Lamu ever could have been, because Lamu was adopted and was not of the bloodline of the original Anu. Alalu infused much of what he had learned with extraordinary insight. His forefather, Anshargal, gathered excellent knowledge about the heavens and the circuits. Anshar significantly improved their knowledge. Alalu learned a lot from him. He always talked with intelligent men. Savants and commanders gave him guidance to him. Alalu had this knowledge because he had studied about the beginning. The gold on the hammered bracelet served as a confirmation. The gold in Tiamat's hammered bracelet was the indicator. Alalu triumphantly landed on the planet of gold. He used a beacon to scan the surroundings. His chariot landed on the edge of a large marsh. He changed into a fish suit and an eagle helmet. And when they say fish suit and eagle helmet, we're talking about like Navy SEAL attire. And the eagle helmet are like pilot helmets. And this is all advanced technology far beyond, thousands of years beyond what we have now on Earth. He then unlocked the chariot's hatch, pausing to consider that the heavens were white and blue, the sky, and the higher above heavens was all dark and black. And that's when he's talking about the spacecraft voyage, like when you're in outer space. On Earth, there was silence and no one to greet him. He stood alone in this strange world, perhaps exiled from Nibiru forever. He lowered himself to the ground and walked on the dark-colored earth. Now just put yourself in his shoes. He is on a foreign planet that they have never been to. They don't know if there's a civilization here that would attack. That's why he says there was no one there to greet him. Meaning if it was a space-fearing population or culture, they would have scanned that he was arriving in the sky. So this is how he understood that it was kind of a primitive planet. He could see hills in the distance, and there were many forests nearby. He stepped into one of the wetlands in front of him, and he trembled as he felt the cold and chill of the marsh water surrounding him. Then he returned to solid ground, and he was in this unfamiliar world, meaning everything on Earth is very different than planet Nibiru. And he could not stop obsessively thinking about these things. Now he's going around planet Earth and he's collecting water to drink and food. He's looking for fruits and anything that grows naturally that he could actually eat and ingest.
A runaway pet donkey named Diesel has been adopted by a herd of wild elk and is now living a new life, likely even acting as the guardian of the herd. In 2019, David Drury was on a hike with Diesel and a llama when Diesel was spooked by something nearby. He bolted, dragging David with him for a short distance before disappearing into the wilderness. David returned to his nearby ranch with just his llama, and he and his wife Terry began their search for Diesel, but he was never found. Dave and Terry were heartbroken, and they spent years worrying about Diesel's well-being, just hoping that he was okay out there. Recently, Dave was scrolling through social media when he came across a video from a man in the area named Max, which clearly showed Diesel looking confident and healthy, living among a herd of elk that has accepted him as one of their own. This is actually the second video of Diesel and the elk to surface in the last year, but it's the first time that Dave and Terry have publicly confirmed that they saw it and that they're certain it's Diesel. Burros are fierce protectors and they're commonly used to guard livestock, so it's believed that Diesel is actively protecting his new chosen family. Terry says that finding the video was just amazing, and that it was a major relief to see that he's happy, healthy, and living his best life. She and Dave have no plans to try to capture him, saying that he's officially a wild burro now, and they're just happy to know that he's thriving. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
This little cube is worth $300. It is stainless steel. Listen, you can't see anything on this, right? But look. Yeah, I have no idea why my ex bought this and he waited like a year for this to ship. But he is way more committed to this piece of stainless steel metal than me.
Huh. Hey, look at these cats here having fun. Man, do you think these are real cats? No, the cat went for their cat that was having some difficulty going up the swing. This is interesting. Good vibes animals, my friend. These ones understand love and caring. This is one wonderful mother out there in the jungle, surviving with their kids, you see? Wonderful souls. Oh, look at this other one. Oh, and in other places. Good Vibes Soul zoomed in on a randomus using Google Earth, as you have seen before. And now this one is creepy. Because my friend, what those people came across is something that looks like a boat stuck on the shore. How is this possible? What could have happened there? Man, see, there is a lot of crazy stuff and weird stuff on this run. Yo, it's not just a normal boat. It's like people who are living there on the boat had built a boat. Hey, these people, or is this Noah's Ark? Look, it is very big. I doubt this is, but it's like people had built also on that boat. And they had also, it's like the boat, my God. This boat has a building on it. Is this a normal boat? Or is a ship? English people. You mean those ships can be this big? It's like it has a house on top of it. This is things that are crazy. This one just saved this other wildlife for a whole hour. Good vibes, you see? Look at this for video carefully and leave your comments. Do you think this is real or camera stuff? Not only she swipes, she even licked and clicked.
Is the male equivalent equivalent of flowers? Because I genuinely have absolutely zero clue on what men actually want. Of course, a woman loves a bouquet of flowers from time to time just to show some appreciation. But what is the male equivalent of that? Is it a Lego set? Is it some tools? Is it... I literally have no... Is it flowers? Do men like flowers? Like, that's a genuine question. Do men like flowers? Because I think everyone should love flowers, but I'm just like, is that a thing? I've heard a lot of people like a baked good. So if I made some homemade brownies, I don't know, do men like that? I literally have zero clue on what men actually like. So can somebody in the comments please give me a categoric list on what you would like to receive as a small gesture? You know, if someone bought me flowers and I wanted to return the favour, what could I potentially do? Is it a Lego set? Is it some baked goods? Is it this bus?
Hey, look at this. British people have another surprise for us today. But today is an artistic surprise. This hyper-realistic drawings is what my friend is telling me. But me, I don't know. All of these things are arranged. Even the videos themselves are for entertainment purposes. And we do this, my friend, with the intentions of spreading love. So if you see something that is exciting to you, just hit the like button there. You see? That way we can grow this channel and spread love to everybody. Look at this guy here. Wonderful. Oh, this drawing just looks fantastic.
This is a picture of the man who wrote the King James Version of the Bible, or at least he's given the credit for writing it. He was a supreme slave master, King James. In fact, it was King James who threw slavery into high gear. In fact, it was the slaves were brought to Jamestown. They named, in 1619, they named the place where they brought the first slaves after King James, the Bible man. Okay, so we have to start really looking at these things. Of course, King James dealt very, very highly in witchcraft. Most of us are familiar with his book, the Bible, but how many are you familiar with his other book? Is there anybody in here familiar with his other book? He also wrote a book on witchcraft. And this is a library book, so I didn't write it or anything, but you can send the pictures back up here, because I need to keep them together. Thank you. Oh, okay, send them around this way. This is a picture, this is a copy of King James's book on witchcraft. Particular book on witchcraft, he deals with the art of imitation. See, the media is all about imitation. Children were often the victims of witches. So we have here, now these are not black people on this picture. These are Europeans. And they are doing their sacrificing children. You will see a nun kneeling, and you will see, but they're kneeling at the behind of a goat.
The sun is 99.86% of the mass of the entire solar system. It's most of the solar system. And that remaining little bit is basically just Jupiter. The Earth and all of the people on it are a rounding error on the mass of the sun.
Ah, look at this. I think it's in the wrong place. My God. Oh, wrong place at the wrong time. On the highway.
This one is a robot.
This one is a robot?
Yeah, a cleaning one.
Aye, a cleaning robot. English people. Hey, I'm surprised just like the way this monkey was surprised here to be shown a mirror. Probably wondering, my God, humans have now decided to finish the world. If they have something that I can fit in, and it looks like another creature like me has fit in there, this is unbelievable. My God. Hey, pass me the sanitizer, please. This thing is blowing my mind. I'd rather lick the sanitizer than watch this other thing we've created. The monkey there can't believe. My God. Whatever they have thought about bananas is what they have been coming across and fruits. Then they are shown something like a mirror. This is what was used to entice our grandparents back then by
I
English
heard
people.
children don't like vegetables because vegetables, on average, are bitter. And most poisons in nature are bitter. And poisons are much more potent on a small body, such as an infant or child or toddler, than they are on an adult. So that this was an evolutionary resistance to not dying by eating something that was poisonous.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it works. Babies and children have more taste buds than adults, so we're born with a lot of taste buds that we sort of gradually lose over our lifetimes. So, everything they're tasting is more intense than what an adult will taste.
We finally have an update as to why feet keep washing up on the coast of Vancouver and different parts of the US and Canada, but specifically Vancouver. So for years and years, feet have been washing up. The foot is in the shoe. This has been washing up everywhere. We've never had an explanation. We've had some theories, but they finally kind of figured it out as to why feet keep washing up. So they are dead people that die either by jumping in the water to end it, or they are, drowning victims from ships, things like that. I'm trying to be as sensitive as I can, even though the story is really messed up. So what happens is scavengers in the bottom of the ocean, they eat the body up, like little crabs and things like that. They eat most of the portions of the bodies. And one of the parts that they like to eat the most is our ankles, because the joints there are soft enough for them to enjoy. And so that the foot detaches and it floats, because the shoes have a material that's synthetic, and it allows them to float and sort of drift onto the water. And also the fish, they don't like to eat that material, so that's what happened when it came to the feet. Our shoes are not tasty enough for the fish, and our ankles are, and that's the story. The bodies went down whole, and the fish finished off the rest of it. So if you ever wonder why I have thalassophobia, that's one of the reasons. Feet.
Hiya. English people. Yeah, they have hired birds again in other places of English lands to do some paper cutting work. This one is good vibes. But they are staying with the birds there. This one is good. The birds are using the paper to exaggerate the look of their feathers. These one are intelligent English people's birds. They look like some chicken we had seen in another episode there that was showing how they were being taught in school.